Hey,
Hey.
Hang with the Joneses, episode 24,
Thor.
and I am Rashad.
I'm Kesha.
And today we're going to be talking about one of Keisha's favorite pastimes.
You put me out there real hard.
One of
You had to
Keisha's
say that.
favorite pastimes, and I understand. Everybody has their thing. You just have to accept it. And Keisha's thing is reality television, and
It's a guilty pleasure.
Keisha love it too.
And then I get mad at it.
Yes. The sad part is Keisha really thinks it's real. Like this is all.
No, I don't think that. I don't think it's real.
Yes, you do.
However, I do think some of the repercussions behind it are real.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
no, I know a lot of things is in the ideal place, in the ideal situation. Is put in place. Like we used to watch Real World, and they had no food, but they have all this alcohol.
Yeah, definitely scripted. And what you said like a couple of seconds ago was a great segue. So, we were watching a particular one. Was it Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah,
whatever. It's the Tamar Braxton joint. What's the name of her show? Name doesn't matter. So, I was watching it with her because I was forced to watch it. It was not my intent nor plan. Anyway, I'm watching and I'm just seeing, and of course, I don't really want to watch because we already know what this leads to. This leads to basically Tamar, attempting suicide, which is a horrible thing.
And then in the when they're documenting this, I don't know if because I knew the ending or her having the suicide attempt, but it seems like it's documented to work towards like everything is a downfall, like they trying to make it like
how they're editing it.
Yeah, how they and I'm not sure it's editing, but I know it had to happen for it to be edited. But the way like she's losing her sanity, like you see the breakdown or the demise of Tamar, and I'm not sure if it was really kind of in that sequence, but that's definitely how they're filming it.
Again, it's not how they're filming; it's how they're editing it.
But
because you make, especially when in reality TV, whatever you film is what you film. You make the story in the edit. Mm-hmm. So you can make a storyline out of just raw footage and gear it a certain way to make it chop it up, make it look like this really was how it's portrayed. Mm-hmm. And I feel that was like a major issue. That's a major issue for me with reality TV in general because this may not even be how it went.
Yeah.
It could be, having an entirely different connotation and context, but when they edit it down, add music, add transitions,
that dramatic.
And
what
then
will she do next?
Yeah, right. And it's like it'd be like nothing. So
but honestly, I feel you because it is a guilty pleasure, like so many people out there. That's why these shows continue. But I was like, he asked me, "Why are you watching?" Because I can clearly see the manipulation. And that's the thing. I'm like, Tamar, to me, it sounds like they're manipulating her.
All right, so...
But her boyfriend, I feel like, was kind of telling the truth.
All right, so let's get to the point of the whole thing. So the point of contention for me was how she had what was called a quote-unquote, a dream coach?
Yeah.
She had a dream coach. And I'm looking at this... Like, what is it? Like, one was a dream coach. And it took them a while to explain what her actual job was.
And her actual job on the show, and for understanding she's renowned, she interprets your dream. And your dream's supposed to kind of help you through your life, which is also, I believe some of the dreams that we have are given by God. However, Tamar boyfriend, fiance, felt like, which I understood, where is the source of interpretation coming from? Is it coming from God or the enemy? And he used because his family, being that he's African, he has seen witchcraft done he been there and observed witchcraft be done. So he wanted to make sure that Tamar wasn't like being put under a witchcraft. Which you said,
just wasn't being susceptible to that. Yeah.
And I kind of agree with him. Because this dream but go back. Because when he asked her, what's the source this coming from? What scripture you have for interpreting these dreams? She asked, well, when she's twerking, which scripture is that? When she was like, when she on stage, there's nothing scripture about
you
that.
almost got me. I almost spit all that coffee out.
Which I do agree. Like both of them. I do agree. Both of them were correct to me. However, I do agree. If you interpret these dreams, who's the source? And the dream interpreter said it's not coming from her source. Any source is coming from her. Because she was afraid. They were saying that she was a witch.
Yeah.
And then of course they edited. She had a big black hat on with all black.
Which was very, and also just like very much differences of cultural norms going on too. So he is definitely clearly African, and Tamar, like he said, Tamar is definitively now Hollywood. You also have to remember, and this is, and we'll get to the pseudo therapeutic part in a second. Pseudo therapeutic. So the thing I dislike most is just how they'll put this person in a situation and then act like they didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So my point of contention has always and will always be with whoever is executive producing these shows, and we know who executive produces these shows. It's Mona Me. Mona Me produced a lot of these shows, and then I was sitting there watching. No, let me finish my statement. I was sitting there watching. I was like, man, Kesha, I wonder who's producing the show, and then who came to sit down and talk to her.
But then also, I'm not sure. They may have expected the reaction, hoping for the reaction. Of course, it's TV. They want more drama. But I think the fact that she wouldn't let them record more drama. But it came up into it because he's like, why are you watching it? And part of it, we agree that even the dream interpreter is open her up. Even the executive producer is open her up. And they telling her to explore issues with your family and why your sisters don't like you. Like, they provoking to get this feeling.
And then even to the point where she said there has to be a place where you may have to basically cut your family off.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you going to say that? Like, you're not even...
But even before that, it's provoking all these feelings. Of course, on this resolve, apparently, I don't know, I'm not part of the family, there's some unresolved issues going on between Tamar and her sisters and her family. So they're going to explore how she's having a party, but nobody else, the sisters say they don't come in, like they don't deal with her. But you can see them. She was told, I need to see this on camera. I need to see this. And I was, oh my gosh, they are opening her up. But no one has a way of helping her heal. And the end conversation was, you might need counseling. And I was like, oh no, like, oh my gosh. You open her up, you telling her to expose herself, but there's no way for her to come back. And in which he's right on this. I shouldn't, especially as a therapist, being constant, because I clearly see. I'm like, I see how it could have led her to being with the place when she may want to hurt herself. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know exactly what brought her to that place. I'm just going basically off what they show me, and I'm like, they open her up, but no one is providing her a solution for healing on this dream interpreter that's really from. Right, and we don't even know what Tamar said she felt a kind of aligned with it, but I kind of agree with the boyfriend. We really don't know if it's coming from no source. It's from the enemy. And this is the dream coach saying that it's not coming from God, it's not coming from Satan, it's coming from her. Now if it's not of God, what is it? There's no in between. And this is coming out her mouth. It ain't coming from God.
Yeah, the sad part is people will watch this and then look at it as strictly as entertainment. Mm-hmm. And because think about it, that's what it is really entertainment. Because even how Mona Me framed the whole conversation, it was like, look, we need you to be doing this. We need you to be doing this. We need to record this. How you feel right now, we need to make sure that we capture all of this.
And we want to bring your family
You
into
want to
it.
bring them because they need to be part of the story too. See again,
And I was like,
hence
oh.
narrative, story, production.
And as she's saying this, Tamar, you can see
It's clearly distraught.
you can clearly see that she's
She don't
distraught.
want no parts of this.
So, and like she in her part, she said, "Y'all keep creating this storyline, wanting me to have confrontation with everybody, and that's not where she's at." However, and once again, she did agree though. She signed on the dotted line. However, I don't think she intentionally knew.
But did you notice how, like after she said that, like Mona's whole demeanor sort of shifted towards the business of being on a reality show. Because
Yeah.
I mean, even her tone was like, "Well, you wanted to do this." I was like,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm trying to.
But then to sum it up with, I'm not a therapist, but you need to go. You probably need to go to therapy. I was like, but there's no therapist up there. It's just the dream.
That's
coach.
what I'm saying. So if you really wanted to not just act like you don't care, you could have easily provided via your budget for the show a therapist. Because so any other show they're gonna get the black guy with the glasses, you know what I'm saying, or the other black lady that always be the therapist.
Yeah,
Like they always be there. So it's not like
they
the
could have got
situation.
Dr. Ish.
They could have got anybody. It's on weed. They could have definitely got out of Ish. So.
Which I like him. I think he really be doing some therapy.
Yeah, he does. Even though it's still garbage. So situation, not him. The show's garbage. Marriage boot camp. So I really like it. It really. I won't even be like it. It really hurt watching it. Like
It did. Now the episodes before didn't. When I watched that one, I mean, and then I think just being a believer, and then plus the side of me being a therapist, I was like, here's the door opening for her to be manipulated.
I saw from
her to get hurt.
I saw from the first episode. I said, Kesha, do you realize that this is probably filmed right around or right before she attempted suicide? Like it's clear. The timeline is clear, and even if it was like a gap, imagine doing all this right, and then
being reopened.
No, just all of that right, and then the pandemic hit, and then you had to basically because she probably lives in either Atlanta or L.A. They would definitely quarantine, especially if she was out in L.A. Atlanta not so much. They was wilding in Georgia, but especially if she was still in L.A. L.A. went on lockdown for real. They still on lockdown. So imagine being quarantined by yourself, just you and your thoughts. Now you have to really, because you know how it was, especially for me early on. Like I really had to sit down and really kind of reevaluate and look at things, and like that could have easily been like, all right, well, this is my best answer is self harm. So
And to me, and once again, I don't know her, but she always portrayed the type that she was really confident. So I just think that for her to have that, consider that life will be, especially how much she always said she loved her son and loves her son, it must have been extreme pressure for her to want, thinking she's better off, or her son's better off without her.
Yeah.
And that she's better off without her.
Yeah.
So I know it has to be extreme, and I think she made a statement saying something about the record. I can't, don't quote me on that. I can't remember, but I think a statement came up. But and this goes back into a lot of things, because even being careful, because certain conversations that you have with people, you can open up Pandora box and call and just being nosy.
Explain.
I'm just okay. I can sit here and say I'm trying to be nosy and trying to figure out things and just keep asking you questions so you can tell me whatever it is I'm trying to look for. However, you don't know how that I might be opening up something and I'm clearly not, no, that person clearly not trained to put it back together. And then you go and leave and with the information, whatever you do with the information, but you might just tore that person's life down. And then next thing you know, you just see certain behaviors, and that's like, I never think that sometimes maybe just that your conversation could have opened up Pandora's box for them, and you don't know how to close that back. So it was just like, just even hearing that, I'm like, you gotta be careful with the conversations you have, because even though sometimes you're doing out of the best place in your heart, just trying to show support, and somebody opened up something that you might not respect, you just like, oh. What do I do? You ever been in a situation like you might be like, how you doing? Someone's like, you like, oh.
Yeah,
I thought
it's
you just say like how most of us do, like, okay, and keep walking.
all fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah, that's not great at all. I don't. I'm trying to really explain this the best way I know how. That that's those situations when people try to Okay, so I don't like it when people try to get an emotional rise out of me. Like I said, I always my thing is always be careful of people who try to get like trying to get you emotional react to things all the time, and that's what it was for me when I was watching. I was like, man, she's really trying to get her to emotionally react to everything that's going on, and it's because the situation she was in already. She was of course emotionally reacting to it because she was hitting all her triggers, her contractually, familially, and then just herself as a person. So
Even spiritually.
yeah, spiritually too, and even oh my god, even look at how like how Mona kind of presented it. It was like, well, I gave you so and so. I gave you Goalie. That's not Goalie, right? I gave you Goalie, the dream interpreter. I gave you all these things. So what's the problem? You don't want to record. So it comes across very conniving and very concerted. Like okay, like this is my game plan. Don't worry, we, as in the station, the channel, like we're gonna make sure that we get all enough footage we have to make a 13 episode season for this or a 10 episode season, however many episodes it is, so we can actually have content for our network. That's what it really is.
So we can get money.
We can advertise it because since people watch it, advertising are going to spend ad dollars during those times because they know who's watching it. Who's watching it? Your demographic is watching it.
But I'm even value saying that. How many people may be watching and getting triggered?
That's what I'm saying. Even better example is Iyanla Van Zant Fix My Life. So
That's another one
some more trash. So you got Iyanla. Okay, question. Quick question.
Why are you gonna put me on the spot? You see this, right?
So, could you tell everybody what Iyanla Van Zant is?
She's a lawyer. She's an evangelist. She's a life coach. She's a mother. She did her work.
What is she not?
Yeah, she's not a licensed therapist.
Okay. And the definition of a life coach is basically someone who helps you with future goals.
Oh, help you with goals and help you come up with goals. Yeah.
Goals. In regards to how you want to be, right? So would you say that Miss Iyanla Van Zant tries to do therapy?
Yes, and I have no problems with life coaches. And to make it clear, I don't have a problem with life coaches. However, there's no major in school that say your major is life coach.
No.
So usually, even get certified licensed life coach, it's usually a kind of a program you might find or something like that. There's no major. There's no school called life coach.
No, you can go online and get a certification.
For life like I say, it's something extra. There's no accredited school. To be a LIP, a licensed independent practitioner, you have to go through school. You have to practice courses. You have to know modalities. You have to know the code of ethics. And it's been so many times. Like for instance, when Miss Iyanla did DMX, I said she should never touch that. She wasn't prepared. She opened up that box and an explosion happened. Meaning that once she opened up and got him to talking, she wasn't prepared to handle all of that. She didn't know how many layers. So what ended up happening, you open him up, and then up to me got mad at him because you can't fix him and sent him off. So he's just out there. Like that's like someone going for surgery and you just leave the scar open and just say, hope it don't get infected. Hope it don't get worse. It's going to get worse and it's going to start stinking. And there was some other people that I saw kind of buck the system, buck her theory too. Tamar,
Yeah.
Tamar, but it's just because, and a part of me agree with it because still a part of it is reality. So it's still for entertainment, and there's no real thing in therapy as let me lean on your back, I got your back. That's not a real thing. Me leaning on your back does not make you feel more supported than if I wasn't there. That's really not a thing in counseling. Also, you can't do that for everyone. There's people out there who have triggers or even body pain. You cannot touch everybody. I really don't touch anyone. I don't touch anyone because one, sexual assault. Two, you can really trigger someone by touching them. You don't know what they experience, and you touch someone, and it's like boom, and you're like, "What? I just want to give them a hug." That's another thing about the hugging. Even sometimes in church, like we give you a hug, you gotta be careful because you don't know what people be going through, and you don't know how they've been triggered. And then the other thing is, it's not by me leaning on your back doesn't mean anything. And if we talk about transferring of energy, I don't have to touch you for energy to be transferred.
Yeah.
Like if you watching this, you probably feeling my energy now. We might not even have to be in the same room for you to feel somebody's energy. That's why we watch reality TV shows. You feel their energy.
So, with that all being said, so going back to the putting stuff out of the box and don't know how to put it back in the box.
Who's that?
Sorry. Somebody else will get it. You won't. So
I feel like a little boy in the bike. Okay, scream. Good.
How your professional opinion? I've seen a lot of times, of course, watching it with you, not my choice, where Iyanla would get frustrated and actually have like a very heated back and forth. So what you're trying to tell me is that in therapy you shouldn't have those type of interactions.
Mm-mm. No, like who was it? Kesha Cole's sister. What she call her? Oh my gosh.
A gutter snipe.
A gutter snipe. I was like, no. And see, this is the problem I have with this too, because people look at this and say that's therapy. It's not. She's not a licensed person. That is not therapy. This dream coach, that's not therapy. Even when we watch, and I like this show too, Marriage Boot Camp, that's not in therapy. They're not going to have you do obstacle course. You're not going to do that. That's not therapy. But you could go on a therapy retreat, but
Yeah, that's what it's kind of tailored around.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So no, there's no going back and forth. If you going back and forth with a client, there's some countertransference, which means that something he or she said, the client said, is hitting you. So now you gotta. It's like a tug of war. No, the two kids, like it's a power struggle. Now It's a power struggle because something they said hits you, so it reminds you of something. So that's countertransference for me. I'm taking what they say and making it personal to me. And that anyone tells you that's unhealthy. So if I gotta go at you, we need to end this session. We need to maybe look at how we can redo this different. And if needed, you might need to go somewhere else. Yeah. But definitely not. It's not calling anyone a gutter snipe. That's not therapy. No.
Yeah, that's why like a lot of times I can't get down with these shows.
Having someone sit in your lap and you wrap your arms, that's not therapy.
Nah, that's just giving somebody a hug. And even
especially, let me tell you, a lot of population I'm dealing with is post-traumatic stress disorder. Some of the people, depending on their trauma, I'm lucky if I can get in a room together and we can close the door. That's how some people are triggered. Some people can't be behind a closed door. So let alone have that person sit on my lap. No, that is why I say so far a trigger. Or even something as that can be a blow up.
Yeah, just a touch.
Just a touch. That's when we gotta be careful. We gotta be careful. We don't know everybody's story. Even I'm against, and going back to reality show, but even I'm against that sometimes in church when we doing this, I want to say, clean and come to Jesus moment, if there's nobody there to clear it up, sew it back up, you just let out hurt people you just let people get off the operating table who are clearly, you can see their blood and they haven't been sewn up. There's no healing for them. So as a result, you're going to see behaviors increase. You're going to see they're easily to get to them. You know, hello, what? Like, yo, they weren't like that last week. What? They become easily agitated. So we really, really have to be careful. I recommend anytime there's anything, I know you're saying clinical, but when you ask people to share, it's almost clinical because someone is going to share something that you didn't expect. It's just dynamic a group. But even the fact, knowing that, even in church, when you do group, knowing that, there's going to always be somebody who's going to go far. What do you do? Because, don't do that. No. And even I have with people, it's like, I'm going to pray for you. I'm like, yo, just say you can't deal with it. Don't tell me don't lie. Don't lie. Or come on, let's pray. But I didn't even tell you what happened yet, and you already want to pray. And I'm really quick for people who like, as a solution, let's pray. No, I'm not against prayer. But let me give you an example. If I come to you hungry, and I say I am hungry, you can't say to that person, let me pray for you. The first thing you want to do is feed them.
Yeah, address the needs first.
Address the needs. That's Maslow's hierarchy of need. First way is to make them safe, feed them. Once you're able to feed them, then you're able to witness to them. But I can't hear you if my stomach is louder than you. I can't hear you if I feel my stomach in my back. You know, so going back to the reality show, yes, I do feel like when I saw that last episode, I was like, oh, I feel bad for watching this as a therapist, as a believer, because she's been being manipulated. And even though her boyfriend didn't say it quite right, he is telling the truth.
Yeah.
He is telling the truth.
Because my thing is, like, even if you want to take the angle of witchcraft or her being a witch and all that out of the equation, it's still having her do something out of her norm, right? Mm-hmm. Out of her norm, in addition to all the other insecurities she has. So now what you just did, you've added another insecurity. Because what she said, I haven't been having dreams. So now it's like you have her worrying about something else.
But then also I want to make this clear too. All this can feel good. All this can feel right. All of it will work temporarily.
Yeah.
But it's just manipulation. It's only going to be so far it's going to take you. I feel like it's like with Moses and the magician, like when Moses had his staff doing all this, and the magician come behind him and say, I can do it too, boom. But after a while, the magician can't copy with so much because it wasn't anointed. It's like, oh. So even with that, it's a time where it can look and mimic like this is a real thing. But it's only going to get you so far because the anointing, the talent, the teaching of someone who's licensed is different. You can't copy it unless you learned it. On the same token, not everybody license is good. Not everybody license. I ran into something like, ooh, how do you get your license? Like you work with people? I have heard people say who is in mental health field, like, I hate people. Why are you in the field with helping people if you don't like them?
Yeah, that's crazy.
No. But that's might be one show that I'm like, oh, I might have to, guilty pleasure might have to go away. One of the shows I already stopped, but this one, when I saw that,
which one was that?
Iyanla Fix for Life. So I ain't watching it.
Yeah. Good job.
But the other one, it made me feel so sad. Like and I don't like hugging. If I can give her a hug, I would, because I'm like, Tamar, you're being manipulated. You're being manipulated, and this is me thinking. I don't know. I wonder if she felt that. Probably felt that. Felt the pressure of it.
Yeah, of course she did. I mean, that was clearly obvious. I mean, she has to have felt that again, being contractually obligated to make content for somebody.
To make content.
Because you've been paid. So your life is just...
But then that's the thing. Like, your life is entertainment, but when you're not on screen, you're still known only by your entertainment.
On top of that, you have zero... And this is the real issue. I'm going to close after this. Is when you do these type shows and then you have zero ability to control how.
Yeah, how's it come out? Because I might say X, Y, and Z, but they can add, they be like, you like, what?
Because right now, I'm pretty sure they have her as executive producer on the show, but that's just as a title. That's just she's getting paid to be executive producer. Because if another producer can come to you and say this is what we got to do, then you have zero control over the content. You're just the talent, and that's it. That's the sad part.
And they exploit, and I'm really, I know it's my secret, but I got to get rid of a lot of these. But I'm like, and these people are being exploited, whether they know it or not. These people are getting exploited for, and I know that a lot of them make a buku money, but I'm not sure these people are getting exploited. I'm not sure they
At what cost, though?
And I say reality TV is the death of marriages. Ain't too many reality people that start out married, they're still married. I feel like Candy and Todd, please keep the faith. Keep it up, because we need you. We need you to rock it out.
Yeah, a whole
But
lot.
it ain't too many. Like the housewives, most of them are housewives. Most of them aren't married.
Nah.
I was like, how you have a show called Housewife and nobody married up there?
It's just a show with some women now.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on start wrapping this up. Yeah, I'm sorry we ended on such a dour note, but that's reality.
Just guard your heart. As I said, just guard your heart.
I made a pun. Yeah. Seriously, I really hope that you guys, really listen to what, Trakesha J. Jones, licensed clinician social worker, said today, and really take it to heart when you are watching television and engaging in these conversations in social media, because that's the next place where that conversation happens, because it's all about engagement. Speaking of engagement, we want you to like, share, subscribe, and make sure that you click on any bell if you're on YouTube. If you are listening to this via podcast, thank you. Thank you a lot. Make sure you share the pod as well. If you want to support us, hang with the Joneses at, what's that thing called? Patreon. Patreon.com/hang with the Joneses. Shoot us some money. We are not beggars, but we will take your money. Also, Instagram, Facebook. Make sure that you like us there. We were trying to get these numbers up again for engagement purposes. The more that you all engage with us, like leave comments and share, the more people will be able to actually see us and be a part of this community that we're trying to build as well. Again, that's all we got for today, episode 24. Peace.
Deuces.